Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
And I am Tayo Salam. Many thanks for joining us again.
Okay, we start off the show with the news that broke last night, which is the sacking of Coach Gernot Rohr. That's the Super Eagles coach with just 27 days to the commencement of the Africa Cup of Nations.
Wow, Cecilia, this is incoming. If you want to keep it real, we knew something was up. Finally, we got the news yesterday coming from the Nigeria Football Federation. Gernot Rohr's tenure is over as the Super Eagles coach. Anyways, following the sacking of Gernot Rohr, former captain of the Super Eagles, Eguavoen, has been appointed as the interim technical advisor.
And he will be supported by a consortium of former internationals. Also on the program, Max Verstappen. Yes, he is the Formula One champion at 24, winning his maiden title, Formula One World Champion at 24, winning his very first title, and of course becoming the first man from his country, Netherlands, to win the title.
Wow!
Miraculous miraculous last lap overtake. Yes, actually lands him the title.
That's quite a mouthful, Cecilia. But the race gods are definitely were on the sides of Max Verstappen. What a race! What a season finale! We said it all season that this was going to go straight down to the wire, Cecilia. Literally, we needed the last lap of the race of the season finale to determine our champion in Formula One. What a race, what a season. Exciting stuff. Everyone tuned into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on Sunday.
Even those that usually don't watch Formula One.
A lot of casuals, you know, that are not big-time Formula One fans tuned in to watch that particular race, and boy, it did not disappoint.
It didn't disappoint at all. Controversy, high drama, last lap overtake, and everything you can think about that happens in the Formula One race, all of them happened in the final day. And the good news is the fact that there was no crashing out. That was what I was afraid of, especially at the beginning. I was so afraid of that is that going to happen? But it didn't. Of course, we're all happy that, yes, it went to the final lap. And the way Lewis Hamilton overtook Max Verstappen just at the beginning. I mean, Max Verstappen was on pole. I felt, okay, that's advantage. I remember you celebrating on Saturday. I mean, testing me and telling me, look, Max is on pole. What's going to happen in this one? Well, we don't know. Hamilton is a smart driver. But you see, at the very beginning,
straight away, took it straight away. Took the lead. Very fast starter for Hamilton. And Cecilia, you talked about the fact that there was no crash. They came really close, though, because once Hamilton took the lead, Verstappen was very unhappy. Wanted his lead back. Tried to take over the game or overtake Hamilton. They came really close to touching, but apparently they did not touch, and that's how the race went on. And for long periods, Hamilton was in cruise control. It looked like everything was under control. It looked like it was going to win.
Smooth sailing.
You know, world title. It's going to break that record with. There you go.
What you were talking about,
There you go. I was really afraid of Yeah, but thankfully there was no collision and the race went on. Like I said, Hamilton had everything under control. Cecilia, the race was largely uneventful, perhaps until Sergio Perez, Chico, actually gave Hamilton a real battle sometime in the race, and I believe that contributed to Hamilton's tires being worn out. Eventually was instrumental in him losing that race at the end of it all.
Obviously, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, when you look at the whole race, the whole way it happened, the controversy and everything, him having to take that, Verstappen ended the season with about 10 wins. Hamilton ended with 8.
10 and 8, yeah.
I mean, that's small. And also the fact that Max Verstappen had taken more poles and more podium than Hamilton, I think he's really deserved it after that 22 races and everything. But if you look at the way the whole race pans out, the controversy that happens, whereby the coming in of the race car after that crash, and then where you have Michael Massey having to make that decision. But at the end of the day, I just feel it was a miraculous thing for Max Verstappen, because at a point, the team principal was even saying that it's going to take a miracle for them to win it.
That's it.
And then that miracle really happened in the final lap.
Nicolas Latifi, I believe that's his name, had a massive crash. And I was telling Austin while I was watching the race as well too, that barring any serious accidents or crash, Hamilton was going to become champion for the 8th time. And guess what? There was that crash. The safety car was brought on for obvious reasons, and that was the opportunity that Max Verstappen needed. And boy, did he take full advantage. Once the safety car came into play, Red Bull brought in Max for a change of tires, and for obvious reasons, Mercedes decided to leave. That's a crash.
That's a crash from
a heavy one.
Nicolas Latifi.
Exactly, and the safety car had to come on, and this is where Red Bull brought in Max for fresh tires. Mercedes on the other side decided to leave Hamilton
I don't know
on the whole tires. They didn't want to lose track position, obviously, but then they did not bargain for what was going to happen next. The decision of the race director to allow one more lap, which is essentially a shootout, a sprint finish between Hamilton, who's on old tires, and Max Verstappen, who's on fresh tires, and there was only going to be one winner in that situation.
And then, of course, who was the winner? Happens to
there you go. Look how disappointed they were there, because they knew what was coming. They knew
especially that call that was made by Michael.
They knew he was going to pass him.
So he's got fresher tires. That's the advantage he had. That going wheel to wheel for the lead, and he took it. And then he never.
There you go. Check
there
the
was
flag.
a time that Hamilton almost bumped into him, but somehow nothing happened. In fact, at the end of the day,
Verstappen played great defense.
Yeah, I mean, he was just great. It was just great. I think it was just his day. I mean, tears of joy. I was really happy for him.
Look at him.
I mean, everyone was blaming the race director. Why will he allow them, to overtake the safety car? But at the end of the day, I think there's some things that happen, and you know that it's just your day, it's your moment. So just take advantage, you earn it. I think he earned that race, going wheel to Hamilton in the final lap and then taking it. So congratulations to him. That's what I'm taking away from this one. So forget all the controversies. Toto Wolff now.
Toto Wolff could not believe it. Like what just happened. Yeah, I had to bleep that out because exactly disappointing end for Mercedes, but they've given us a good, real fight until the very end. It wasn't meant to be. You have to say, perhaps Max wasn't the best driver on the day, but overall in the season, like you said, 10 wins.
10 wins.
Just about shades being the best driver for the season. And I think he's really deserving of the championship. He's driven with heart, he's driven with passion and determination, and that's why he's the first Dutch Formula One world champion. Look at the celebrations at the end. Cecilia, for long periods, this looked very, very unlikely until the race gods came up with that crash. And we're seeing pictures are coming after the protest because Mercedes were not going to take it lying down.
Of course. No. The way he walked out from the room and just went straight, I knew that he was going to do something, complain to the stewards. But then their complaint, the
protest,
and was turned down. And now they said they want to appeal to FIA.
Yeah, they've signaled their intention to appeal. So, so that means that they've got about 96 hours to decide whether to lodge a full appeal for the race. Because on Thursday it's going to be the prize giving day. So once the prizes are handed out, there's nothing left to be done about it. I think Mercedes should just let this go.
Especially Toto Wolff.
Yeah,
I mean, you've won 7 in a row. I mean, the 8th constructor title, unprecedented 8th in a row. So that should do.
Yeah, that should do. But then, there's a lot at stake. Cecilia, you can understand why they were very pained by that particular move from the race director. But then the protests have been thrown out. You should just let it go and console yourself with the constructors' title and come back again next season for a real battle. Celebrations, of course, for Max Verstappen. Disappointment very evident for Lewis Hamilton and the Mercedes team. This was then after they lost the protest to the stewards. The stewards are essentially dismissing the 2 protests brought by Mercedes against Max Verstappen and the classification of the race. Anyways, enough of our talking. It's time to listen to the race winner and first-time Formula One world champion, Max Verstappen.
I always said to myself, I'm just going to push until the last lap. I'm not going to make it easy. Make it look easy to them. And I just kept believing in something come my way at the end of the race. And of course, you never expect that to happen. But of course, after that safety car and then, you know, having that one lap shootout, I had the fresher tires on. I say that's my chance. But the funny thing was, then I was so close, and then I got a massive cramp in my leg in that last lap, the whole lap. So when I went for the move already, that whole straight, basically turned 2 trees flat. I had a massive cramp, so I was just going flat out, but like biting my teeth, like, go on, because it was really painful. So I made the move. And then, of course, I had still another 2 long straights to battle with Lewis, but having this cramp. So, yeah, that was not really enjoyable. Then I was very happy after turn 9, you know, everything started to settle down, so I could lift a bit earlier into 12, because the cramp was just unbearable. But all that just adds to the emotion of the whole race. Since I started to drive a bit more professionally, and you know, the goal was together with my dad, where we traveled all over Europe, was first, of course, to get to Formula 1. That's already an achievement. Then, of course, you hope that you one day stand on the podium or maybe win a race. You know, these things were achieved. Then the ultimate goal is, of course, to win a championship. And then, you know, once you achieve that, like today, and then having that emotional moment also with my dad behind into the garage, basically, it was, yeah, really special and something I will never forget.
Unforgettable indeed.
Yeah.
Winning a Formula 1 world title after, you know, starting your career with that goal. This guy's been racing since he was a toddler. And Cecilia, to realize that dream, it's simply unforgettable.
He wanted to do this for the next 15 to 16 years. That's what he said. All right, that would be a great one. But then the Dutch fans are celebrating. You know the reason for that. Because the first time in the history of the country, they're having a Formula 1 champion. And that's why all of them are celebrating this huge celebrations everywhere. I'm just happy the fact that he was able to, you know, get that incredible finish. I believe the prayers from all of them actually made this happen. I mean, how do you win 9 races before the last one? Of course, he has been on the podium more times. He's got more pole more times than Lewis Hamilton. Like everything concerning the start this season, he's always been the best. And then the final day, I mean, he just lost that pole position he was when he started and Hamilton took over. You'd be thinking what's going to happen on this one, but somehow the miracle was there, and that's why they're really celebrating. I believe most of them may have lost. I mean, you were chatting me up like, okay, I mean, Hamilton is taking this one, and then somehow,
barring any accidents, that's what it looked like.
And of course, the accident happened, and then that miraculous overtake in the last lap, and then he became a Formula 1 champion.
And these guys were made to wait for about 4 hours for the confirmation.
58 laps.
Yeah.
After that, we're waiting. Okay, will it be confirmed? Will it? Okay, so you know what? We have to leave Formula 1 right now because I know Ty would love to talk about this one till the end of the show. So let's move straight to the NBA.
There's still going to be many more opportunities to talk about Max Verstappen as well as Lewis Hamilton as well. So Thursday, like I said, prize given day where this guy will be crowned, will get to receive his trophy as the 2021 Formula 1 World Champion. That's it for F1 now. Let's move on to basketball quickly and give you the results of all of the games that were played this morning in the NBA. Not a full or not a packed schedule.
Yeah,
We've got
6
some
games
for you. So it's not too bad.
Yeah,
the Bucks, starting with the Bucks against the New York Knicks. That was the earliest game of the night. Bucks prevailed 112-97. Chris Middleton with 24 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo,
first triple-double
of the season. Elsewhere, the Nets defeated the Pistons as Detroit 116-104. Kevin Durant was sensational in that game. We'll come back and tell you what KD did to the Detroit Pistons shortly. Elsewhere, the Mavs defeated the OKC Thunder 103-84 without Luka Doncic. Fantastic victory for Dallas. The Spurs were also victorious 112-97 over the New Orleans Pelicans, while the Blazers lost 111-116 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And last but not the least, the LA Lakers 106, Orlando Magic 94. James, as LeBron James, 101 career triple-double for King James in that particular victory.
All right, let's take a look at our star game, and the reason is simply because of Kevin Durant, what he did for the team, because the coach, Steve Nash, has been talking about him. I mean, what he's been able to achieve. A season high of 51 points. That's what he dished out. And of course, there was no James Harden. He was rested. Remember the last time Kevin Durant was rested, the Rockets took out the Brooklyn Nets. But James Harden rested. But then
doesn't really matter.
Kevin Durant had to take over. The man was shooting 16 of 31 from the field, including 5 3-pointers. It was his day, you will see, especially in the final quarter, where they had to make that 30-13 run in the final quarter, especially when Detroit were actually closing in, you know, when they were just leading by just like 5 points. And then they had to extend that in that final quarter, of course, courtesy of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, KD was simply unstoppable in this particular game. Scored at least 10 points in all 4 quarters. Made 7 of 8 shots. He scored 16 points in the third quarter. That was really where the Brooklyn Nets pulled away for the victory. They also scored the first 13 points for the Nets in that quarter. In 25 games this season, Kevin Durant is leading the NBA, scoring at 29.4 points per game. Let's take a listen now to KD.
Yeah, I felt like we started the game off with a nice flow, nice energy, and got up double digits, and the ball was popping, everybody was touching it. And in the second quarter, they upped the pressure a little bit, full court, threw some full court traps in there, was able to get their hands on the basketball. I think we turned it over, I want to say 11 times that quarter, or maybe that was the third. But I felt like we turned it over a lot in between that second and third quarter. And so I just tried to keep the ball in our hands, take a shot every time down, because I was turning over too, and I was able to make some. No, I just felt like we got enough scoring. I feel like defensively we come out and stick the game plan, play physical, then the offense take care of itself. We went cold there for a second, so I figured that I should be more aggressive.
Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets. Before we leave basketball, let's take a look at our top performers on the night, starting with Giannis Antetokounmpo, 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists for the Bucks in the victory over the New York Knicks. Also making the short list is LeBron James, 101 career triple-double, 30, 11, and 10 for the Lakers in the victory over the Orlando Magic. And last but not the least, it has to be that man, Kevin Durant, 51 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists. Take about wherever you are, KD. All right, so that's it for the NBA. Let's quickly move on with the show, and let's talk a bit of mixed martial arts, where it's official. Israel Adesanya is going to defend his middleweight title against Robert Whittaker in a rematch that's going to be in February. On February the 12th, 2022. Cecilia, remember what happened in the first matchup between these two incredible fighters.
Second round knockouts.
Won by second round knockouts at UFC 243 in October 2019. And we're not expecting any other results other than and still in February, Cecilia.
Of course, I mean, ESPN ranked him as number 2 pound fighter in the world, so which is a great one. But at middleweight, I mean, since then, he has taken over that number 1 position. Whittaker is now number 2. So it shows how good he is. 21-1, which is another one. 21 wins, and of course, only 1 loss, which was in that... that
was into Jan Blachowicz. That was a light heavyweight title fight.
So this one is middleweight. So obviously, you should be able to take this one.
Yeah, so Adesanya still remains unbeaten in the middleweight category. So he's the man to beat, definitely. I'm looking forward to this fight. We still have enough time for a proper build-up to Israel Adesanya's return to the octagon. From mixed martial arts, Cecilia, let's come back home and talk a bit of cricket.
The CC League, talking about the Lagos Cricket League. It started this weekend. And of course, defending champions, Bejuleki defeated their rival, the Government College Ibadan Old Boys Association, by about 8 wickets. I mean, that was Division 1, and this happened at the University of Lagos. Oval. And of course, the Ibadan-based side, they lacked a little bit of that batting composure, but then somehow they were not just able to do it because they lost by 65 runs, and they lost by 9 wickets in 17.2 overs. But we need to go on a break now. When we come back, of course, we'll talk more about this cricket, and then we'll listen to the coach of the team and also the organizers of the Cricket League. And Austin will be joining us, and we'll also be talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, where Coach Gernot Rohr has been fired after 117 games.
people forget that we did not play any serious cricket for 2 years. When I mean serious, it's not bilateral series, 4 weeks to the time and playing and the rest of it. It's all about what we are doing today. Let me bring us back to what we are. I'm really, really excited. CCC League is arguably one of the biggest leagues outside South Africa. So we are back and moving, and NCF is supporting initiatives such as this. As we speak, the next best league in Nigeria, Edo Cricket League, is taking place. So you have leagues that are bringing about 300 to 400 high-performance players that are going to be playing all year round. So when you get that, but when they now get to the national team for trials, of course our head coach, Vasanka, is here. It's all that as part of the cricket ecosystem that I'm excited about. So this is very important to us because it's part of our strategic imperatives: support the regions, support the grassroots, whether it's terms of meeting number of cricketers you're pulling everywhere, support the teams or the leagues in terms of raising the competence or profiles of our players. Then we do the finishing touches at the national level.
Look, as I mentioned some time ago as well, I was looking forward to this, and it's good that it's up and running now after most probably a couple of years not being played because of the pandemic. So it is good. I think players are too early to say anything. I think a bit rusty as well. So when they keep playing more games, I think sides will start settling down and doing better.
As the coach of the national team, they're really excited for them to start this Lagos Club Cricket League, and I'm happy that another one is also going on in Edo State. It shows that cricket players can now have opportunity to play more games all through the season. Onyemuchi Wanchukwu joins us on the program this morning. He's the deputy sport editor of Sporting Life. I remember last time he was here and we were asking him about Coach Gernot Rohr. He said no, he's staying till February. Well, Onyemuchi, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning. You know, they say the only thing constant is change.
All right. I love that. Austin Okonakwa is in London, so Austin is also joining us this morning. Austin, how are you doing?
Sure.
It's great to have you. You're smiling, right? Quickly, let me just ask you one question, just one simple one. I'll give you 30 minutes, 30 seconds to wrap it up. Max Verstappen, the miracle that happened in Abu Dhabi.
30 seconds, my time starts now. Cecilia, I've been talking about this for quite some time now with some people after the victory. I think we had the most, competitive F1 season. Verstappen deserves to be champion with the way he raced all season. Hamilton also deserves to win it. I feel so bad because the FIA warned these drivers not to go dirty. And at the end of the day, it was their silly decision that got us where we are now. Instead of celebrating a fantastic driver, Michael Masi decides to take the headlines, and I'm sure he's having fun now.
Obviously, he's having fun. We love the drama and how it ended. All right, so let's talk about Coach Gernot Rohr now. Before we do that, of course, you guys will have to talk to us on, send us an email on what you think about the sacking of Coach Gernot Rohr. It's a channel's spot this morning at channelstv.com. So send us an email. We'll try as much as possible to read all your mails that you will be sending. Is it the right thing to do? With just 27 days to the commencement of the Africa Cup of Nations, the NFF have sacked Coach Gernot Rohr. And now you have a consortium of ex-internationals. A former coach, Austin Eguavoen, former captain, is part of the squad. Of course, you have Salisu Yusuf. There's so many of them, about 9 in all, that will help to see what's going to happen in AFCON. And the hope is for Nigeria to win it. After finishing third the last time, all they're gunning for is a good medal. Will these coaches be able to do that for the nation? That's the big question. So tell us, was it a good decision or right one for NFF to sack Gernot Rohr at this time with just 27 days to the Nations Cup? Which I'll start up with you.
Well, Cecilia and Tayo, I really don't know whether it's the right time. Do you really have the right time to sack any coach? That's the issue. A lot of things happen behind the scene. You were asking me about the program last Monday when we said he's likely to leave in February. Yeah. I learned that there was a meeting on Thursday, between representative of the Sports Ministry and the NFF, represented by Pinnick and the General Secretary. And the minister categorically gave them 2 options. And I think one of the options is what they choose, to let Gernot Rohr leave and get a consortium of coaches. And we must say it here that I think the body language of the ministry actually wanted a homegrown technical crew for whatever reasons. But for the Football Federation, I think it's easier for them to toe that line, because you said 27 days to the Nations Cup. If you are going to get a foreign coach or another coach coming outside the country, negotiations will likely take place. Sometimes the coach will want some structures in place, and really there will be no time. So Augustine Eguavoen has a second chance of taking the Super Eagles to the Nations Cup. He was there in 2006. I was in Egypt and I covered that tournament when Nigeria won bronze. My take really is, whether you will like it or not, we are stuck with him now. Anything we say here, criticize or praise him, is not going to amount to anything. So let's see how it works. The only breath of fresh air we have seen the list, the members of the technical. The only breath of fresh air is Dr. Terry Eguavoen. That's everybody's asking, who is this guy? We are talking before the program started. He used to be NFF consultant on coaching and development. In fact, he has been in and out of the country, organizing seminars for coaches, trying to improve the quality of coaching in Nigeria. Specifically, in the United States, he's purely into college football. He has a master's degree, he has a doctorate degree, and we hope that maybe his vast knowledge of the technicalities of the game could bring some value to the technical.
Sure, that's why it's been there.
Yeah.
That's why it's there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's take a look at the statements that are coming from the NFF, and it's pretty much straightforward, and we've been expecting this for a while now. Relationship between the Nigeria Football Federation and Mr. Rohr has come to an end. We thank him for his services to the Super Eagles and Nigeria. Then on Austin Eguavoen, former captain of the Super Eagles, he's been appointed as a technical advisor of the Super Eagles on an interim basis. This is with immediate effect, and is now going to take charge of the team as it begins preparations for the 33rd African Cup of Nations until the appointment of a substantive head coach. What does that part mean?
Well,
it's going to start preparations until the appointment of a substantive coach. Is there going to be an appointment for AFCON?
No, I don't think there will be an appointment for AFCON. The time is too short. So I think that slide is just ambiguous.
It's just
it's good. If you are preparing a team, you are going to take the team.
You've got to take the team, exactly.
I mean, even in Europe, if you have taken charge of training, like Makekari did before Rani came,
you play the game.
Then you play the game. Yeah. That's the way it is.
All right. So let's take a look at the composition of the new Super Eagles technical crew now, led by Austin Eguavoen, who's the interim technical advisor. That's him right there. Then followed by Salisu Yusuf, Paul Aigbogun, assistant coach, Joseph Yobo, assistant coach, Dr. Terry, like I said, assistant coach, and Aloy Agro is a goalkeeper trainer. Then there's also the technical and ambassadorial support featuring Augustine Okocha, Nwanko Kam, and Gabalawa. Austin, there you go. So these are the guys that are going to be in charge of the Super Eagles of Nigeria going forward.
Yeah, what else can I say? It sounds good. Let's just hope that they all work with a unity of purpose. Let's also hope that this will not bring a new distraction to the team, because the AFCON is just about 24 days away. I like Austin Eguavoen a lot. I think he's a very intelligent guy. I also know that he's thorough. But he's also a calm guy, and to take this sort of role on interim basis, you need to be, the word is not totally stubborn, but to know how to stand your grounds, because once again, we will start asking, hope they will let him work, hope persons will not start, complaining tomorrow. Yes, majority wanted Coach Gernot Rohr out. Now he's out. Can we now focus and make sure that we make this interim, period a good one? People questioning Austin Eguavoen, and I laugh, because if you've been following Nigerian football, you cannot, question his quality, and he's got experience as a player, as a coach, and until this announcement, he was technical director of the team, and the technical director ensures high performance, you know, and quality in the team. So he's the easiest person, you know, to ease into the job, and I'm glad that the announcement has been made and it's time to get to work.
Time to get to work. Okay, for Coach Gernot Rohr, let's just take a look at his statistics. I mean, what he did for the country before he was fired. Now, he played 117 games and won 49 at the draw 31, losses 37, and the win ratio happens to be 41.88%. That's what he got for the country. Is this a pass mark?
Well, I think it's not a bad result, Sicily and Tayo. You know, if you compare what Gernot Rohr, the number of matches he won to previous coaches. But honestly, the issue against Rohr is simple. He did not make the national team competitive. In my opinion, I think certain players felt they could easily stroll into the national team, and he had a fixated mindset. And I also had the privilege of sometimes watching the team at close quarters outside this country. And how he pampers some players really worried me. So from 2018, when we were preparing for the World Cup, when I went to Austria to cover the team's campaign, I realized that this guy is likely not to bring the best out of our team. For a team, whether national team or club, to soar, you need to put players on their toes. You know, whether you're a superstar or whatever, you need certain players to keep you on your toes, telling you that if you falter, this guy is going to take over the national team. Then the playing pattern, Tayo and Cecilia, we have watched the misery. The match against Sierra Leone at the Samuel Ogbomudia Stadium, we were leading 4-0. People almost died of hypertension. It became 4-4, and we are praying not to lose the game. Same thing happened against Central African Republic. The same thing happened against Cape Verde. We are not trying to show disrespect to these countries, but you must give us a style that complements our qualities. Our players like moving forward. We are adventurous. We are enterprising people. You don't make us so conservative, no flair. Anytime you are watching the Eagles, they are predictable, and that's why opponents have found us easy to play against. So these are the issues against Gernot Rohr.
So performances were not convincing?
Not convincing.
Okay. Even though he got the results, the qualifier for the AFCON. And
are we going to die of hypertension watching the Super Eagles?
Okay,
Those are the questions.
I thought we were past that, because when Gernot Rohr came, people started talking about qualifying with the game to spare and the fact that we don't have to use calculators anymore. But then calculator, more like hypertension replacing calculator, that's not what most
stakes
people
are
wanted
higher
to see.
now. That's just the
stakes
point.
Are higher,
stakes
right?
are higher. Yeah.
Austin, I mean, here you mentioned the fact that we didn't have pattern of play, and then there was a whole lot of issues. People were no longer eager to watch the Super Eagles play, and we became so predictable. And smaller teams like Central African Republic can easily just maybe tear the Super Eagles apart. What do you make of his stint? I mean, we rolled out the stats, and which you said, yes, it was fine, but then our style of play, I mean, it wasn't competitive. And of course, people not really wanting to see the Super Eagles play because of the high stakes, or rather maybe you don't want to get a heart attack or something watching the Super Eagles play.
For me, guys, I've always, you know, been on the side of balance when we talk about coaching. You know, the other side are the players. For instance, if the NFF employs Thierry Henry to coach the Super Eagles, is he going to bring Mbappe to play for Nigeria? He will work with what we have in Nigeria, all the quality that decides to play for Nigeria. And when Coach Gernot Rohr came, he worked with the quality that we had in Nigeria. And at some point, people started liking him. You just mentioned that they were praising him that, oh, we didn't get to qualify with our hands on our cheek or start calculating and all of that. He did that, you know. 2018 was pretty decent. I remember when we defeated Cameroon, the talks about, oh, this is the team, blah, blah, blah. And then we went to the World Cup. Then talk started changing. For me, I've always said it, that players should take responsibility. And Cristiano Ronaldo echoed my opinion when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was having problems at United. He said that players need to step up and find out what the problem is, because it is this same players, you know, and the same mindset that Coach Gernot Rohr was using in 2018 that he was admired, that rolled into 2019, 2022, he got sacked. For instance, if we want to talk about the team from 2018, there were some players who got missing in 2019 2020, and then Providence started. John Obibike was instrumental. Ogenyo Nazi was instrumental to that team. Victor Moses was part of that team. Emmanuel was Emmanuel. But anyway, there were some players who were very useful towards Coach Gernot Rohr acceptance by football fans in Nigeria. Now, the players. What are you going to say to yourself that you're playing Sierra Leone and you're winning 4-0 and it's 4-4? What did the coach tell you that you were able to score 4 that you forgot and start conceding another 4? And we see this over and over again, but we know the story. Coaches are hired to be fired, and coaching suffers it. United was going through so much in the back room, and then it was Ole that was in the front line, and he got sacked. So Coach Gernot Rohr, I started, the warning bells for me got off when we lost to Madagascar at the 2019 AFCON. Remember Cecilia Antaya kept telling you guys that if I'm this guy now, if he's not going to make improvements right after the AFCON, hug everybody goodbye and leave. But it is what it is. They've told him to go now. There is a new team on ground. Let's see what they can do with a set of players. Onyewuchi, Tayo, Cecilia, people will still complain. Austin Eguavoen will invite somebody now. They'll start saying this and that. Oh, well, does this person marry the team? Oh, hope they are not doing this and that in the background. I just want us to focus because there's a big task ahead of us, the AFCON, and then there's the World Cup crucial round. So if we think this is the best for us as a country, let everybody come together now and work to ensure that we build a solid Super Eagles team for these assignments.
Right.
I think it's only fitting, right? We do building a team. I mean, I'm getting some mails now. This one is coming from Sheena Phillips. Let me quickly read this. He said, we had a coach in Raw who couldn't build a team. All his attempt came down to attempt to build a team. He failed. I mean, attempt to build a team. He failed. I mean, this is the question I'm going to ask Uchi. I'm reading this out. I mean, we had a coach in Raw who couldn't build a team. All his attempt came down to attempt to build a team. He failed.
Yeah, he was always saying that
he was building.
He was building, and his team is young. That we didn't have the complement of the kind of players we used to have in the past. He mentioned Austin J.J. Okocha, Kano Nwankwo, Victor Ikpeba, and all that. That is not even the issue. My emphasis is very simple. You see this team now, apart from Victor Moses, we no longer have fighters. And Austin was talking about the players taking responsibility. You are the coach. We didn't pick the players for you.
Okay.
The man has not come out to say the Nigerian Football Federation imposed players on him or the press. You pick the players.
He got a free hand.
You train the players. You watch them. You train twice a day. Then you must pick the players who are ready to fight for the jersey, for the country.
Yeah.
Irrespective of where you are playing from or where you are, whether you are a superstar, you must play. Cristiano Ronaldo is self-motivated. He's a different class of player. He wants to win. He's a winner. So whether the other players are not, they are reluctant, they don't have the right mindset, is different. He has done that to motivate himself. But some other players, you need to push them. And if they are not doing well, you keep them out of the team.
That's why you need to make the team competitive.
All right, and that's why you are paid $50,000 every month.
Unexpectedly, guys, the messages are pouring in because this particular topic is very close to the hearts of Nigerians. I'm going to take this on from Lukman Ajani. Says that for me, Gernot Rohr was the only coach so far given the free hand and enough time to work with so many talented players to prove himself. But as the saying goes, you cannot give what you don't have. The sack is good riddance to bad rubbish. So obviously that's one person there who is very, very okay with the sacking of Gernot Rohr. So many messages, Cecilia. Let's take more before we go on this break.
Okay, this one is coming from, fraud. Okay, this is about Formula 1.
Yeah, we'll come back.
We'll come back to Formula 1 later. Gernot Rohr is a good, sacking Gernot Rohr. Okay, this is coming from Musaku Abiodun Wahid. It says sacking Gernot Rohr at this point is very wrong. This ought to have been done long ago. Sacking a coach a few weeks to a tournament will put pressure on a new coach. Nigerians should not expect much from the Eagles because nothing super about them any longer.
That's a very fair assessment. Good points from Abiodun.
Okay, let me also take this one, Uzoloman Mbegu. For a good, right decision, but purely wrong timing. Even Eguavoen is not sound technically. Feel for the Super Eagles cause we cannot go anywhere.
Wow.
We need to go on a short break. We'll be back after. Austin is still with us in London. Of course, we're still talking about the sacking of the Super Eagles coach, Gernot Rohr, and the fact that we're having a consortium of coaches that will take charge of it. And the emails we've been getting is the fact that someone's saying, look, yes, sack Gernot Rohr, he should go, but the timing is really wrong. And will these coaches get a free hand to operate? That's the big question they've all been asking. In which counter what Austin said earlier about players can also take, coach can take responsibility because he said he has been building a team for a long time. Now, Austin, before we let you go, on the team building, when Gernot Rohr was appointed 64 months ago, he talked about, he's the longest serving coach we've had in the Super Eagles. He talked about the fact that, look, he's building a team. The team are young. Oyewuchi mentioned that. And then, do you think he succeeded in building a team, leaving us? Did he leave us well, or he left us, hanging?
To an extent, he built a team. And if you look at it in any way you want to, that record that he is living isn't so bad, And we understand that the working environment is also important. It plays a crucial role in achieving results, So he kept saying he's building a team, and to an extent, he brought young players into the team. To an extent, he also built interest amongst Nigerians abroad to come play for the fatherland, and they did that, So I think he actually built a team, but just to put a ton of finality with it, answering Oyewuchi and the role players also play.
Yeah.
Austin Eguavoen, won't he work with about 80 to 85% of the players that Coach Gernot Rohr worked with? He will, because that's what we have, And if these players don't understand that they share part of the blame with the current situation our football is suffering, then we will remain where we are. There must be a change in mindset. They must also be responsible for some of these results that we're having. So that's just what I'm trying to say. Because Austin Eguavoen, we get into the mix now and still work with some of the, we'll work with Wilfred Indeed, we'll work with Alex Iwobi, we'll work with maybe Odioni Alo, we'll work with Victor Osimhen. It will work with most of the players that Coach Gernot Rohr works with. So players are very, very important, particularly how they view this assignment. And before I leave, we've seen the number of assistants, and we've seen the ambassadorial roles also. Can they let Austin Eguavoen work? Because we'll start hearing of interference, and this one wanting to impose, and this one telling him to do this and do that and do this. So I'm just saying we have little time. Let's try all we can to eradicate any form of distraction, guys.
Austin, I think Austin is also suggesting a case of too many cooks right there. But we'll see how it pans out if they end up spoiling whatever they're trying to cook at AFCON. Fingers crossed. And Austin, we're going to sign you. I'm going to sign you off on this note, on a very fast note, from a message coming from Ben's Key. Austin, listen, honey, he says that that is not a miraculous lapse. Talking about the Formula One World Championship, Abu Dhabi season finale yesterday. It was a Michael Massey-enabled championship. The FIA think they've gotten away with it, but it will come back to haunt them. Mercedes will not let this go. That's a very plain Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton fan right there. Austin, thank you for joining us.
And I know what you're trying to do, Tayo, but it's okay. It's okay. I love the fact that we got a dramatic F1 season. But then again, Michael Massey, no, he wanted to get the headlines and he's enjoying it, so it's fine.
Dude. Thank you. Austin, enjoy the rest of the day. Catch you again on Friday. Cheers.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.
All right, let's get on with the show, Cecilia. More tweets before we take a look at the papers.
I mean,
more mails
are coming in. And okay, let me take this one. Bafo says, I'm very happy to hear the sack of Rohr. This man lacks a clue. How can you coach a team for 5 years without having a pattern of play? The Eagles don't even play attractive football. It's you watch team. If you watch, if you watch teams like Algeria, Morocco, Senegal, even Mali, you will know we stand no chance at AFCON.
No, I don't think so. Really, I don't think so. A lot of things can still work. They are going to organize a campaign before the Nations Cup. The same thing Rohr would have done if he was still in charge. So let's see how it goes. The attitude of the players will determine. Then for Coach Austin Eguavoen, I think he will see this as an opportunity to relaunch himself. Whether he uses it or not, it's not left for him. History will be there to either vindicate him or judge him. Then for the members of the technical crew, Tayo and Cecilia, there was an edition of the World Cup that Brazil won. You know, when they won, during the trophy celebration, I saw members, you know, so many members of the backroom staff. The problem we have here really is not the number of backroom staff.
Exactly.
It's clearly defined rules. Everybody must, everybody must understand that this is my role, and you play it professionally. You don't need to interfere in the job of the coaches and his assistants. Know your work and do it. Allow the buck stops on the table of the coach. He gets the stick, he gets the praise. So for me, I don't see it as too bogus.
Yeah, but you've said it as well. So Nigeria is a bit of a peculiar situation.
That's always a problem.
So, yeah.
That's always a problem.
Okay. More tweets, more mails. I'm going to take quickly. In my opinion, the timing of the sacking of Rohr is not right. I would have waited until after the AFCON. However, I wonder if the NFF felt that Rohr may win the AFCON and tie their hands. So they decided to sack him. Anyway, it's time to move on.
Abdulaziz Mohammed says, I think what we need is prayers for the interim coach to put things in shape. Okay, that's a good one. Tosin Adeyinka says, he tagged this, why Salisu Yusuf again? The NFF said Rohr specifically asked for Salisu Yusuf. That's why he was reinstated. But now the coach has been sacked. Who else is asking for Salisu now? The coach was banned for misconduct. Why return him to same position? I think they've clarified that.
That's a valid twist.
That was a
you know, because my fear is that for some of these foreign journalists, if Salisu is going to be on the bench, it could become a moral
distraction.
issue. It could become a moral issue because when the questions come up, what defense are we going to put up? You know, so
that he's been
exactly
clarified.
But I also gathered that he's not likely to be sitting on the bench to avoid all these issues.
Oh, okay. Boy, as an assistant coach, it won't be sitting on the bench. Interesting. Anyway, Samson Adeyemi, we've got your message as well. It's a good decision. His football philosophy is not consistent with that of Nigeria. Class of '94 may seem to be the answer, but we need a world-class coach. So obviously, you don't really agree.
Ultimately.
Dewale John says, keeping Gernot Rohr will only postpone the evil day because he has nothing to offer Nigerian football. There are lots of unbelievable clauses in his so-called contract that has sunk the boat of our football. We play one of the ugliest kind of football, hence we are where we are today.
Mr. SD, got your message as well too. You're saying sacking Rohr at this time is a welcome development. Straight up.
Okay. Inyobonga Ikechukwu, now this is a long one. Said this is great news tainted with bigger bad news. Why Eguavoen, Salisu, Yobo, and Agbogo? Don't we have better proven replacements in Emenike, Egbo, Ikeme, and maybe add Eguavoen? Here is also wishing Gernot Rohr the best in his future endeavor. This NFF, I rest my case. Okay, all right, I think it's a whole long.
Cecilia, we can go on and on and on, but we have tomorrow for more messages.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay, we'll just take a little bit of, do we have time for the papers? Okay. Complete Sports, of course. What's leading here in Complete Sports is Rohr sacked as Eagles coach. Dosu says, Rohr's gone for good. Okay. I will be denied 8th game for Everton. He didn't play. And Sporting Sun is the last one. Rohr sacked. Eguavoen returns. It's all about that. And Chukwueze reaches a major milestone. That's in this game in Villarreal where they won. David Alaba donates, to Nigeria. Okay, that's a good one. And of course, Congo withdrawing from Falconets game. They're through to the next round. They don't want to concede 15 goals, so decide not to come after they were beaten 4 goals to nothing. All right, so Falconets are through to the second round. They'll be facing Cameroon in the first round. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate your time, Oye. Thank you all for watching as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I am Tayo Salam.
I'm Cecilia Omogbe. See you tomorrow.